All right, welcome back to Multiple Personality Intelligences. Today I'm your host, Big Dirty. You know what I'm saying? And today we got a couple of fellas with us, and we are going to be specifically referencing dating and relationships as it relates to modern women and how dating in America compares to foreign women. So I got a couple of panelists on this podcast with me today. I'm gonna go ahead on and let those guys introduce themselves, and then we're gonna jump right into the first question, fellas. Big
Yeah,
U.
my name is Urel. I'm a veteran. Currently, I run a trucking company and a freight broker company, and also do different just the overall entrepreneur basically. So that's about it with me.
That's what's up. AG.
Um, Name's Ontario, from Louisiana. Serving military right now. I got 3 more years to go until I've enjoyed a good life that you gentlemen have with retirement and we're getting out. Uh, Currently in Massachusetts, I got my CCAF in the community Air Force Community College. Still working on my BA for criminal justice. And the plan is to either work for a Raytheon or a Lockheed Martin, something like that, with my resume getting airtight and just trying to finish out these 3 years, stay in shape, stay mentally fit, stay physically fit.
That's what's up. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Smith.
All right. Well, I am Mr. Robert Smith. I'm a entrepreneur. Also, I work in banking. Um, 4 kids, mm, divorced, single. Um, that's pretty much it. Very simple, simple dude. That's all.
That's what's up. I appreciate each and every one of you for being here this day. And we're going to jump right into the primary question, which is as it relates to dating, do foreign women treat American men or Western men better than our own Western women on average? What are your thoughts on that? Anybody want to take that first?
I mean, from personal experience, I think so. I believe so. Like I know so. Let me not let me say I think so. I know so because I mean from my experience, what like from different foreign relationship with foreign women, it's like they appreciate you. They see you as an asset. They not trying to compete with you. They're not, they appreciate what you bring to the table versus, Western women. They kind of take you for granted, take everything you do for granted. Like they're just supposed to get, whatever you bring to the table. Like they're entitled to it. It's an entitlement kind of attitude. In my opinion.
I agree. I agree with everything you just said, brother. So what I've noticed from dating other women in different countries is that it's not absurd to meet a woman who's lived with their parents in well into their late 20s and 30s in some countries. Like they'll stay in the home until they get married. And I think that kind of when they see their mom and how they treat their dad, and when they date us, it kind of filters into that. Because you know how American society is. Once you turn 18, you gotta get out the house. You know. Um, so absolutely, I feel like with us being from the land of the free and that stereotype that we have as being Americans when we go outside of the country, I think everybody wants a piece of that, and the women tend to treat you better because they don't want to miss that opportunity. They don't. Some places they don't know if they're going to meet another person like you again. And yeah, I totally agree, man. Yeah, they definitely treat us better. Whether it's the money they think we make, the opportunities they think they can come up to, they definitely treat us better.
Question, Mr. Robert Smith. What about your take on modern women? Because I know you've done some traveling as well.
I agree. Women from different countries have a different level of respect for men. Um, because again, most fathers are very prevalent in different countries. I'm not saying that they're not here, but it just seems like they're more given a chance in different countries than they are here. So the gentlemen, all of them, I agree with everything that they said. I love it. I totally agree to what they said.
So you guys brought up entitlement. You actually you said something. One of you said something before entitlement. I can't remember the exact word. I was trying to write it down. You have to forgive me for that. But the entitlement that you speak of, what would be some examples of entitlement that you would be able to call out to ladies so they would be aware of this?
Um,
Some women feel like they're entitled to an expensive date.
What's an
Now, me
expensive date?
myself, the first date, when I take a young lady on a date, I'm paying every time. But now, if she offers, that's awesome. But me, one, I'm not going to take you to a. I'm choosing the date. I'm not going to take you to a place I feel like that's going to put me in a compromised situation as far as financially, or or where I think the date might go. That's off rip. But you're not entitled to that. That's just first of all, I don't even do dinner dates. I do lunch dates.
yeah.
Okay.
So so I do feel like some Western women feel like, yeah, like if I say, hey, it's okay if I take you out sometime, that doesn't automatically think me we're gonna go to Ruth Chris or we're gonna go to the expensive $400, $500 restaurant.
Right.
I'm gonna pick the restaurant. We can come up with the time and date, but you're not entitled to what you deem as a nice restaurant is. That's for me. I'm offering, I'm paying. That's up to me. So that's one form of entitlement. Just because I ask you out doesn't mean we get to go where you want to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And also I think the entitlement is 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 shown more by the lack of appreciation, you know? Like if I do something for you and you show appreciation, then I feel good about it. I don't need you to do something back. I just need to see that you appreciate what I do versus, you feeling like, okay, well, you're supposed to do that. That's where the entitlement comes in when you don't appreciate it, when you're like, okay, you're supposed to do that. So I think that's the main thing, just this the lack of appreciation.
Well, if I was to chime in on that, I think the women have lost a sense of respect, and they feel that they're entitled for us to give them respect, and we are not entitled to get any in return. I think a lot of people have forgotten about reciprocity. To pretty much to sum it up, I would say to whom much is given, much is required. If you could basically say to me, "Hey, sir, blah 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 blah," and I give you that same respect back, I feel that you should be giving it. Um, but yeah, a lot of these nowadays women feel that they are entitled to a lot of things that they're not willing to give out.
I also would add to that, and I want to get you guys' opinion. What about the entitlement for a great man or a good man, or like they say in these YouTube streets, a high value man, um, which may ultimately result in them having what they may deem as a easy relationship. Nobody wants to, in my opinion, nobody wants to work hard anymore. It's all about self, and I think that selfish nature is beginning to eat away at all of our livelihoods. Is eating away of the general values and morals that our ancestors instilled in us, and is killing the nuclear family. And without nuclear families, a mother and a father in the home simultaneously for that family unit to create a solid foundation in that child or children, I think everything else is pretty much going to be lost. Thoughts, opinions?
Go back to the beginning again because I
You?
had it and I lost it. Give me the beginning again of the question.
Oh, just as far as
Yeah,
this,
you was going in and out.
Yeah,
I
Yeah.
was going in and out.
yeah.
Oh man, somebody need to hit the super chat or something. Then send me a cash app or something. I'm broke. I'm broke, big broke. I get a cash out right there for anybody that's watching want to help me pay for a better internet service. But no, I think a lot of women, you know what I'm saying, like may want easy relationships because today you get into a relationship or you hear about these relationships that people get into, and as soon as there's smoke, something happens. Somebody wants to
Mm.
leave. Somebody wants to break up. Oh, I can't do this no more. I've been through this before. Like there's no emphasis to stay in these relationships and try to work things out. In the old days, when you got into a relationship and there was some beef, you started arguing, you wanted to separate, get a divorce, the community would come together and they have like a barbecue or what have you. The woman would come and sit with that woman. The man would take that man and they'd go drink bourbon and smoke cigars or whatever the case may be. And both groups would try to push the couple together for the betterment of the family, which ultimately would be for the betterment of the community.
Well, as we know, the community as a whole has changed. um, Again, I think a lot of that could be hinged upon that level of respect that people don't have for each other again. Um, if we as human beings can learn to respect each other, we can learn to love each other. Again, a lot of things happen to form with communication. If you can't talk, you can't work, no matter what way you try to make it happen. Again, a lot of people don't have respect nowadays. People, and I'm gonna call it just as from what I see, there's a lot of that word narcissism and all that. But I noticed there's a lot of coward and callousness going on.
Mm.
So if we can't come to some form of commonality, we can't be a community. We can't be a relationship. We can't be anything because everything is all due back to respect. To whom much is given, much is required.
Um, Also, I think that it's too easy for them to leave. Like as far as like, if I feel like women have a is no not too many negatives for them to leave, whether it's a marriage, whether it's being in a relationship. Like it's easier for them to leave.
Yeah.
Like Big Daddy, as you were saying earlier, like back in our grandparents' days, if a woman was to leave her husband, like she can't go back and live with her parents. She's kind of just out there.
So you have to
Yeah.
Nowadays, nowadays it's girl, go do your thing, go get this, go get that. So there's no really no foundation to build on because she feel like I can go build my own foundation if this one's not working. So there's no strong foundation, no structure. It's too easy to leave.
True. So do you think men overseas or these foreign when dealing with these foreign women is that one of the major differences that you see?
Oh yeah.
Dealing with the relationships and the ability to work through any challenges or obstacles that may come up.
Listen, some of my closest friends are Spanish, Cubans, and Puerto Ricans. I have growing up, I have seen them parents go at it. I mean, yelling, screaming, da da da, just hanging out around them. To this day, them people are still together. They still love each other. They still take care of each other. You understand what I'm saying? They believe in them values, richer or poorer, all that stuff. Death do us part. They believe in those values that they spoke on. One thing that I've noticed in the African American community, we'll say the vows, but we ain't gonna live by them because to the vows or to the person, the vows are just something to get you where you are right now, but it's not really what you feel throughout the whole time. A lot of people are getting married because of opportunity, not because of love.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hmm.
Convenience.
And
Very much
I,
convenient. Yeah.
I mean, this is a little deeper than brings the conversation a little deeper, but I think it was is designed or pushed to be this way for economic reasons. Because if you have one nuclear family, e- um, you can only sell one house to that family. You can only sell one furniture set, one TV, one car. When you have a mother living over here and a father living over here, you selling twice as much things. To it pushes the it grows the economy when you have broken families. So I think there's a economical a reason for it being this way. You know.
I I definitely agree with that as well.
Yeah.
And in terms of family, um, when you when you break up the family, and a lot of times we may be guilty of doing that ourselves. I think I've said this before. Is that a lot of times minorities, specifically African American youth, you only have the ability to grow up with one side of your family, which is typically the mother's side. So you get used to all those uncles and aunties and cousins on that side, and you grow up and you have that network from that side of the family. But other races of kids have both their mother's side and their father's side. So their network off top is definitely going to be bigger. And I think a lot of times that gets lost in the sauce because a lot of times we're so selfish and we don't need any help when we actually do need help, and it's just a lot that comes into play. But I think that overall, families will and could do better with both parents in the home with the support of both families, if that makes sense.
If you look at the modern day African American community, we're taught two things: competition and division. We most of us are in competition with one another in some form, and then when it comes into the point of relationships, the woman is always right and the man is a check. I heard somebody say the other day that she was going to get married. She was going to get married with the thought pattern of, if the future doesn't work out, she gonna have enough kids to where the man gonna pay her where she ain't got to worry about working. I said, and that's how you really think? I said, what about your children?
Yeah.
Those are my kids, but he needs to pay for them. I said, so you can expect for him to pay for them, but not be a part of their lives. I said, you sound real selfish.
But that happens. I think that happens a lot.
Yeah.
Um,
Often.
do you guys think that happens when you deal with foreign women though? Like you
It,
don't believe any of these barriers are in place when you interact and dealing with foreign women?
Mhm.
modern day probably, modern day probably,
Yeah, and it's
because
especially. Go ahead, my bad.
you got to look at who's raising women today. You got Cardi B, you got Beyonce, you got these are your role models. You ain't got Claire Huxtable as a role model. You ain't got Aunt Viv as a role model. You
Oh,
get what I'm
love
saying?
Claire Huston. Mm.
I'm just saying. So you got Cardi B and all these people teaching kids, city girls, telling them, hey, get a man, make him fall in love with you, take his money, rob him blind, get pregnant by him, put him on child support, and leave him. This is what they're telling them in the music. This
Yep.
is who their role models are. I tell you one thing. I got three daughters, and I told my ex-wife, I said, let me tell you something. If I hear my kids playing City Girls or some crap like that, and how they come out, I'm gonna blame it all on you because you let them.
Mm.
They're with you. However they come out is what you've allowed them to consume.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thing is,
And going
at
back,
one
going back to, oh my bad, go ahead, brother.
oh my bad. Yeah, at one point, like you could say, okay, well, as far as dealing with a foreign woman, like if you don't bring her back over to like any Western countries, you'd be good. But with the internet, with social media, it's like that narrative is getting pushed worldwide. So it's like you really can't,
Hmm.
get away from it. So that's a big thing.
I believe that. I also see the beginning. I see the
Yeah,
beginning of it.
I completely agree. I think the internet and the phone has made the village,
It has made the village obsolete.
it made the village too big.
Yeah.
I feel like it made the old saying, it takes a village, is like the village is too large. It's a city now. Like there's no, like I don't see cousins. I don't see kids playing on the soccer field, on the baseball field, or just an open field. I don't see no stickball, no handball. I don't see people staying the night with their cousins. The internet is raising our kids, and it's not doing a good job. It maybe in entrepreneurship and spending money, yeah, but like as far as like we're losing our families too, and
Yeah.
it's like the internet has more insight and more
Say
I want to
so.
say
Influence.
position than what we tell what we tell these kids on the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Influence, way more influence. I mean, back when I was playing AAU, it was my AAU coach. It was my pops. It was the football coach, my high school basketball coach, and that was the internet.
Yep.
So having said that, do y'all believe that with the advent of the internet coming into play now, that eventually these traits that may not be so attractive to most men are going to find their way overseas too?
Oh
Or do
yeah,
you
but
think that
man,
the culture in these different countries will survive the onslaught?
I don't usually watch stuff like this, but I was scrolling Facebook, and I think it was called 90 Day Bride or something like that, or something like, I don't know. But the young girl she was kind of pleasantly plump, and her mom was like a fashion model type looking lady. But the girl put on a dress, right? The girl was excited about the dress. Excited about the dress. She's getting ready to get married and all this. She's just cool. But her mama right in front of her and her friends, something, I don't like it. It makes her look ugly, da 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 da. And I thought about it, and I'm looking at the mama face. I said, I know this Botox filled woman is not crushing this girl's heart like this. But as I listened to the mom, and if you were to look at the mom and look at the daughter, you could tell the mama had the daughter when she was a little younger, older. And the point that I want to bring in is that the mindsets of people have completely changed. Mom was sitting there looking like she was fresh off the runway, fresh off the runway. Couldn't tell her nothing because she had a pocket full of money. That was just how she was. You could tell the money was controlling how she thought. You understand? So you're looking at your daughter who is pleasantly plump, but because she don't look like you, it's an issue. So I do feel that that rhetoric of having to look certain kind of ways or act certain kind of ways to get a man has already made it across the sea.
Mm.
Because think about it. The fashion headquarters of the world is where?
To the headquarters of the world?
The fashion headquarters of the world is where?
Man, I think that shit is like France or Italy or
Milan
something.
and all that. When you see most of those women, what they look like?
They be wearing some
They want,
crazy shit sometimes, man. They be
right.
they be wearing some shit don't make sense sometimes, man. Like,
But watch
Yeah.
this though. Every last one of them know, even though it ain't an American, I can bet you they can tell you a Cardi B song, they can tell you a Beyonce song, and they probably know the words and say it better than English than in their own native tongue.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
It just sucks,
the
man. Go ahead.
the influence is already there. But here's the problem though. And if you keep hearing what I'm saying Beyonce, Cardi B. Our brokenness is making them broken too.
They all married,
every last one of 'em.
and they and they
Yep.
and they married. And they still spitting this stuff to get money. They married. They good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And for them, it's a paycheck.
Meg
For
Meg
us,
Meg
it's a
jumped from relationship
lifestyle.
to relationship, talking crazy. And she stay in relationships.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Listen,
that's pretty wild.
Yeah,
they don't realize for us, it's a
because these chicks
lifestyle.
eat up
For
the
them, it's a
breadcrumbs.
paycheck. Yep, it's a paycheck for them. And for us, it's a lifestyle.
So let me interject this. Having knowing all of this, and
Hmm.
how a lot of these modern women are moving today.
Yep. Unfortunately, we live in a society where like
Well, hold on. So knowing that this is what it is in America, how a lot of women act. What do you guys say to brothers getting their passport and skating off, like getting the hell on, going to seek love or family relationship, whatever, in other countries? Some people say save yourself, black man. Some people say passport bros. Shout out to Black Man Travels. They do a good job of putting the word out there and everything. But what do you guys think of men just saying, you know what, I'm tired of this. There's really nothing here for me anymore. I got my passport. I'm gone.
I think there's stuff here, but I think that a lot of us are too afraid to try because of what we've experienced because of other people.
What do you mean?
When you've dealt with broken people, you get tired of dealing with broken people. You start assuming that everybody that you run into is the same. The first little sign of trouble, like you said, you're going to run because it reminds you of what you went through. If you don't ever heal from your trauma, you'll never experience great things. So a lot of people would rather run instead of heal.
So you think people that get their passport and go to another country or whatever they running?
What's wrong with the people that's here? That you got to go to a whole nother country? What? Watch this. I just got a good one. You running away from America to go find a woman, what you gonna do when that same woman is the same? The pattern's gonna follow you. You could change places, you could change people and all that. If you ain't getting yourself healed, all that same BS is gonna follow you.
So what about that's somebody that's broken. I get it. I understand. I respect it. But to somebody who's not broken, they just don't like their dating options here in the States, and they're well traveled through the military or private organizations or whatever, and they've had the opportunity to spend time, most often years, in different countries throughout Europe, Asia, or whatever the case may be. What about those guys? What do you say to them if they know that something better awaits them? Do you still consider them like running or whatever?
How would you know?
Say that again.
You
Yeah.
how would you know? In order for you to find out if it's different or not, you got to experience them at some point. It's gonna take some time. So what? Okay, prime example. I'm gonna say this. I hate to say it, but I gotta say, I gotta use myself in this example. Before I got with my ex-wife, she was the greatest girlfriend.
American chick or a
Greatest.
foreign chick?
She's American, so I'm gonna use my ex-wife as an example. She was the greatest girlfriend. Cook, clean, house was straight, all of that. When we got married, everything changed.
Yeah.
Sound
Same
like
here.
Everything changed. Everything
Exact
changed.
same thing here.
Everything changed. So a person's gonna send you their representative till they get you. And when they get you, the hellion or whoever it is that's in them, you're gonna see. So in
so.
order for you to find it out, you're gonna have to do your case study, sir. While you're dating them, you're gonna have to jot down everything you see that they doing and make a defining decision in your life. Okay, I've seen a couple things that she's done. Is this something I could deal with? Is this something I want to deal with? Do I really love this person, or am I just going to tolerate this person? There's a lot of things to consider. Going overseas ain't going to change the things. Some of them all think the same way, overseas or not. A woman's going to
Question.
be a woman.
I have a question. Have you do you have a lot of experience dating foreign women, or average, or would you say a little bit?
I dated a Spanish chick. She was
In
sweet as pie
in her country or in America?
in America.
What about
Wow.
foreign
In
dating
another country? Oh, no. Nah.
Okay.
Mm-mm.
I mean
So,
I understand your viewpoint, and I respect that. You know what I'm saying? But I think there's a lot to be said about when you're physically in another country, and you're dating a woman from that particular country. Like, the culture is just totally different. It's different energy. It's just
Yeah.
different.
I think like I said, with the internet, it's like you kind of, it's like, okay, say you dated somebody in America, right? You pretty much know what to expect. Like, you can like the culture lets you know what to expect, you know. So if you know she trying to, finesse you, and you can kind of see through it. But you go to another country, it's like they probably got some a whole other kind of finesse game that you probably not onto, and then you bring her back here and she switch up on you, So it's like, I'm not saying it's the same, but I mean, you could look at it two different ways. You can deal with what you know, or try to deal with something you don't know about, you know, and it could work out either ways. But with, like I said, with the internet, it kind of level out the playing field to where you don't know what you're gonna get. But overall, I mean, if for anybody who felt like, okay, they not getting what they want over here, like I would say, okay, go try something over there, like go try something over there, see how that work out. But I mean, like I said, I think it's a level playing field right now to where they all up on the whole finesse game, and it just depends on who you run into. That's the way
Question.
I see it.
I'm gonna pose the same question to you. Would you say you have a lot of experience dating foreign women in foreign lands, regular or minimal?
Yeah, shit, we was in Korea together. So we was in Korea together.
Yeah, yeah.
My ex is not from America. Her dad is French. Her mom is from Guatemala. Um, I'm not even from America. So I grew up the first 18 years of my life. I didn't grow up in America. So like I got some experience. So,
Okay,
but
okay.
I
Hey,
mean,
Dirty, can you repeat the original question for me?
No, I was just saying like, what do you think about guys who realize that they have options overseas and they go after those options, and if they basically, like, if they feel like their options in dating and relationships, marriage, the whole nine is better abroad, the culture is better, and the women cater more to their man, they treat their man better. Like, what do you have to say about men that say,
Um,
you know what, forget America?
not forget America, but I support support any man's decision to sample. If you are fortunate enough to work hard enough to get yourself in a position where you have a passport and you can go other places, by all means, please do that. I love buffets. So, um, yeah, if you feel like you want to go out there and the world is huge, America is a small country compared to a lot of other countries. So, but I also agree with my man with the trauma. Like now, if there's a pattern in your dating and how the relationship keeps ending and going, it could be you as well. And you going overseas isn't going to fix that. But as far as seeing different cultures, seeing how they cook, seeing how they raise their kids, seeing their parents, seeing how their parents raise their kids, absolutely, I support that, man. If you work hard enough, put yourself in a position to sample, do it.
I only bring that up because I be in these YouTube streets a little bit, and I hear a lot of negative talk or speech about brothers that get their passports and they choose to explore their options, across these borders. So that's the main reason why I bring it up, because I consider myself a passport brother as well. I got my first passport in like '99, 2000, or something like that. So I'm 20, 21 years old, and boom, they just dropped me off in Germany, in the middle of Europe, and I'm
Mm.
like, oh my god, like it was mind boggling, man. It took me a couple of months to compute, what was going on, and then you meet people on flight, whatever, whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then once you link, and then they show you the tracks, and it's over here, that's over there, whatever. And I'm like, this really high. Go check this out. Sure, hey, yo. And it go down, and you be like, you just sit back like, this is crazy. You know what I mean?
Dirty, did you feel overwhelmed when you were there though at that age?
I wouldn't say I was overwhelmed. It was just it was all new. Because I'm coming from a small community. Yeah, I leave my small community. Less than, I think, population less than 15,000 or something like that. I go to Texas for about 9, 10 months. Texas was different, and then from there, they send me to Germany, and I'm in Germany for 4 years, and like that's how I started like my whole international passport experience or whatever. And it was to see that much, at such a young age, it just forever changed my outlook, on dating and relationships. Like my first night, my first day I was there, I woke up and it was two German ladies at my house with pies. They seen me come in the previous day and cook pies, and then the next day I want to say like I don't know 9, 10 o'clock in the morning, like they brought homemade pies. Like, hey, we saw you moving in, type of ordeal. Like you don't get stuff like that in the states.
Man, you a big beefy man. They saw a piece of pie. That's what that was.
Yeah, they did. They
Look,
did.
they saw
Another thing,
this big chocolate piece of pie, and they said, "Let me bake him one."
They can bake all the pies they want. Shoot.
and another thing to think about is the fact that you date over here. They already got a playbook. They already got a plan B. They already got an exit plan. They
Steve
got the
Harvey.
whole playbook already, and they incentivized to leave, Whereas, you date overseas, then they don't it's no real playbook, they just going off a vibe, and if they feeling you, they feeling you, but like America, the government, the court systems, they already established a playbook for Western women, to where they got an incentive to, want to leave and want to, kind of screw their partner over. So that's another thing you got to think
It's,
about.
it's unfortunate, man. We live in a society, we live in a country where a man and a woman can be riding on the same bus to work, and that man can approach that lady and she won't give him the time of day.
That's sad.
Mm.
That's
These
sad.
women are what did we say on the first one? We are teaching our women to be men.
Oh yeah. Well, who's that?
Women,
TD
listen.
did say that the other
TJ
week.
said that. He
Yeah, he
sure did.
did say that. He put them on
Listen,
Yep.
blast.
let me tell you something, man. I was telling, I've been talking to somebody, and I had to tell her this morning on my way to work. I said, "Let me tell you something." I said, "You know why I keep calling you bro and this, that, and the other?" She said, "Why?" I said, "Because you sound like me." I said, I said, bring down that masculinity and put some femininity out there. I said,
Yeah.
"You want me to stop calling you bro? Stop talking to me like I'm a dude, like you're a dude."
Mm.
I said, "I'm just being real with you."
You
And
think you think they feel like they're we like men control the world through our masculinity? Do you feel like women uh think being masculine is a way to get control, and not knowing that their femininity they can get whatever they want from us?
women think we're
'Cause that's what
weak,
it
brother.
like. What can it be?
Women think we're weak.
Gotcha.
Women think we're weak because at the end of the day, most women are teaching their daughters, right? And most women that are teaching their daughters are women who are broken by men, but don't realize the reason that men left was because of their behavior. They don't want to hold accountability. So they would rather tell their daughter men are dogs and this, that, and the other, instead of saying, "You know what, baby girl, mama didn't make right choices, so your daddy left."
Yeah. Because when I
See,
go out with my
one
coworkers and my friends, and these chicks are all butchy and acting all dude, I'll be like, so what's the end goal? So how long you want to do this? Like, because you want a family and a husband and kids and a picket fence. So how you want to get there? Because this ain't it.
I,
But
hey,
it's in the media and everything, man. You see, they got a
Yeah.
female Hulk. They got a female. Why? Who
She-Hulk,
wants to see a female Hulk,
She-Hulk.
man?
Who
Like,
wants to who
honestly,
wants to lay in the bed with
who
that?
wants to see that?
Who
Yo,
wants to
it's
lay in
in
the bed with that?
everything. It's
I swear,
everything.
bro. Let me tell you something. I told somebody, I said, "Let me tell you something. Let a woman put her hands on me." I said, "I'm gonna be cool." I said, "I'm gonna be cool." I said, "But then I'm gonna play the." I said, "I'm gonna play the female. I'm gonna call the police on your ass."
Mm.
I said, "Because here's the thing. Y'all are so quick to call the police on us when y'all be the ones starting shit."
Mm. Yo, it's everywhere, man. It's She-Hulk. It's the Prey movie. It's the Master of the
Mm-hmm.
Universe movie. It's the
Mm-hmm.
the new Resident Evil. It's a chick movie. It's everywhere, bro. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
But here's what I think is gonna happen, and maybe it's just me. I think they're building up women for them to shoot themselves in the foot.
Who
What
doing the
I'm
shooting? Because women ain't gonna shoot themselves.
Watch what I'm telling you. Women are going to become so empowered that they're going to think they're invincible. They're going to create their own demise. Because here's the thing, judicial systems are already seeing that women are playing the victim to get men in trouble. A
Yes.
lot of them are seeing it. A lot of them are seeing it. A lot of them are seeing that these women are crying wolf when they are actually the villain. I can
Yeah.
speak for me. Watch this. I just recently sued my ex for defamation. I did, and the judge like called her out on stuff. I'm telling y'all, these women are going to kill them own selves eventually. All I'm gonna do is just sit back and let them create their own demise.
I don't
Because
think
they're
they.
for
I
what
think
for
they're
what
going to
they're thinking
destroy
is true.
themselves, but I think they're going to ultimately destroy the country in doing so. Because at the end of the day, regardless of who like it or not, you need to have strong men to protect your country.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have any strong men to back, all of this talk and smacking around or whatever that we be doing, eventually somebody gonna call your bluff. And people can say, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
we got technology, this, that, and the third, or whatever, but you know what I'm saying? So do other people. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it'll be
Yeah.
catastrophic, and a lot of people would inevitably lose their lives over some BS.
So how long do we let that happen? Because if is it like if they lose, we lose situation, or is it, or do we got to stand back and let them learn from their mistakes? And how, and what's the that can be a large hit to our culture if we sit back and let them destroy themselves. You know what I'm saying? That can take years of rebuilding. So what's our role in that? While we are sitting back and watching them do what they
Men
do?
are men are the creators, women are the gateway. So if we stop creating, think about that.
Hmm.
I mean, they
Because
could
at this
probably
point,
sustain, but I fast forward my thinking to, if I'm blessed to see 70, 80, 90 years old, 100 years old, or something like that, what type of safety is my country going to provide for me? Am I going to be safe walking down the street to, the market to buy some vegetables and some fruit? Or am I going to get knocked in the head, robbed, possibly shot, killed, or something like that? Like, what type of, like, I think it goes a lot farther than the dynamics between men and women at the end of the day. But what type of people are we raising up? What are the principles um, that are instilled in them? Because at the end of the day, one thing for sure, two things for certain, we're gonna all get old. And what is the protection of this country gonna look like at that time? That's just a question for anybody. If we don't do anything, if we don't make a
Well,
stance or a move, like you said.
I think society in general has become so selfish that you know people are valuing money over what the issue you just brought up. So it's like the people who are in control, which are the people who really control the financial institutions and control society. Basically, they don't care if how society ends up. Like I said, like they want broken families. They can sell more stuff to broken families. You can only sell one house if a family's together. You can only sell one car, one everything. You have broken families, you can sell multiples. So I don't think the people who are in control, I don't think they care whether we're safe or not.
I feel you on that real quick. I want to thank everybody for watching. Thank you
I
for
think the
joining
best
both
the
of you.
best thing you can do is probably
Go ahead, go ahead. Hey, somebody hit their mute button. If somebody typing or
now I think
something.
the best thing you can do is on an individual basis is do what you got to do on an individual basis.
Hey, hold
Like
on, bro.
you
Hold on, hold
can't
on,
you
hold
can't
on, hold
save
on.
the world, you can't
Hey,
save,
Big, hold on, hold on,
you
hold
got
on,
to
hold
do
on,
what you
hold
can
on,
do.
hold on, hold on a sec, hold on a sec. Somebody's tapping the screen. It's annoying.
Yeah, I think it's a newcomer.
Hey, Roy, is that you? Can you hear us? You can't hear us? I don't think you can hear us right now.
that's what he's saying in the chat. In
Going
the
in
chat,
and
he
out.
says, he goes, I can't hear what anyone is saying. It's probably a device issue. I can see you though.
Yeah, you might have to change it to speaker. That's what I had to do on my phone.
Somebody send him a private chat. Let me know. But what you were saying, Big U? You don't remember? Oh, he got kicked out too. So I mean, what I really want to do is correlate it, because the topic is in reference to modern dating, and you got a lot of guys. You got a lot of guys that are actually leaving, like they packing up, and they're like, I'm tired of this dating market. It's unfair. I get nothing in return, and they're confident that the deals that they get will be better, dealing with foreign women. And that's one of the things why I wanted to bring this up, because I want to get different perspectives, from you guys on that. Modern women versus foreign women. And in a lot of my experiences and a lot of experiences that I've had with other people, they tend to say that, the culture of the modern women supersedes the value that modern women in the West bring, you know? So having said that, see if we can get everybody else back into the stream right quick. If you're just not joining us, ladies and gentlemen, this is Multiple Personality Intelligences. Thank you for watching. We're currently discussing the dynamics between men and women, specifically that dynamic between how foreign women treat the men in the West versus how foreign women treat the men in the West. So we got a great panel here for you guys. We got Mr. Roy Barker just tuned in. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you loud and clear over here. Go ahead on and introduce yourself for us.
My name is Roy Barker. I'm from Sioux City, Iowa. 44 years old. I got 2 kids, daughter 18, a son who's 8. Married twice, divorced twice. I got a kid from each marriage. They live with me, raised by me. And right now I just work and take care of them. That's about it.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, we appreciate you coming to the panel, like always. So really quick, I want to get your opinion while we got you on the live now. What is your take as far as the treatment of American women versus foreign women?
What's the treatment?
Yeah, do you think foreign women treat American men better, or do you think American women treat American men better?
Well, I have never dated a foreign woman, but from my time over in Germany, I had a few buddies who I served with that did date a couple foreign girls from the area, and I think they got treated better because they were something new, something they were curious about them, where they were from, and everything you hear about America and stuff like that. I think that the American got treated probably better than they deserve to, because they're from a rich country in a foreign land, and I don't really
even
have
in
any more.
Germany though, like would you
Yeah,
know the money factor in Germany?
the money.
Yeah, the financial component to it, as far as them looking at American men like a meal ticket or something.
Yeah, I think, yeah. No, I don't know. I only know I had one friend that married a German girl, and I don't know how he did it, because she didn't speak any English. But no, I don't know as far as a meal ticket. I had a guy on my flight that brought a girl back to base, and he woke up in the morning. He had some stuff gone out of his room, from a German girl. But other than that, I don't know if they'd be looked at as meal tickets. I think it was. There's a lot to consider when you are going to date or marry or be with somebody from another country. If it gets too serious, what are you going to do after that? Because that's a pretty good relocation. For one or the other, you're going to be leaving something behind. You're depending on what country you end up in. whether he or she stays in Germany, any foreign country, or she leaves her family in her country and starts a new life with him back in America. That's a lot to take on.
That's a lot. That is a lot to take on.
Yeah. So from I had a local girl I brought with me. I married and brought her to Germany, and I was 22 and she was 18, and she was homesick. I was homesick too. And the difference was, I had to be there and she didn't. And then on top of that, you're learning a new country, a new job. I was brand new airman, and I was working nights, 6 at night to 6 in the morning, and we had trouble meeting people. And she flew home twice and came back twice, but ultimately I think we were in over our head, and we ended up not working out. We were married long enough to have a daughter, so it takes an awful lot of maturity, experience to handle situations like that. And when you're so young and you ain't got that support around you, a mom and dad, grandma and grandpa, things that you're used to, the success rate's very low.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that input. It's definitely a lot to consider. Definitely a lot to take on. Well, like I was saying earlier, there's also a lot of bashing that goes on with passport brothers or men in general who decide to explore their options in these different countries. What would you say to these men? Not saying that that's something that either one of you would do and or recommend, but for the men who do decide, hey, I'm going to get out of here, what advice would you offer them, if any?
What are you bringing with you? Because I know around here, it'd even be, I don't think, if I'm going out to date, do I got my ducks in a row? Do I got a house, a car, a job, a steady income? And, what do I bring to the table to make a woman want to be interested in me? So if I'm going all the way to a foreign country, where am I operating out of? A hotel room, or am I there on business? How much money am I bringing with me? And because if you ain't at work, you're out spending money. I don't know how you would go about without the services of a dating site. How would you find a girl in another country? And she don't know nothing about you. If like for me, I've been married twice, and I noticed in my second marriage, what made when I was working, paying the bills, and she can see me on a daily basis doing what a man's supposed to do, making her feel safe. My reliability, my credibility, I'm building that with her every day, building that trust. I don't know how you could go to another country and not be working, not have a house. That she don't see your family, she don't know what she's getting into, none of that other stuff. I don't know how she could make a good decision and saying, hey, I will marry you and I'll go back to your home. Be foolish. There's a lot of pieces missing there.
But what about as far as like advice though? Would you give the traveler, the guy in this case? Yeah, I know it's understood that there's a lot to take in, how you're going to take care of yourself, et cetera. But for example, let's just say you have this guy. In most cases, I would assume that they're at least 30 plus, 35 plus or something to that extent. Excuse me, may already be traveled, and this is their first time. Maybe they've been listening to some YouTube videos, and they're curious, or maybe they have a friend that's done it before. Like what from traveling, from being stationed overseas in Germany, and all of these different interactions, of the knowledge that you've attained, what would you give someone just to send them off in the right direction, or tips and tricks or something to that extent?
Okay, I would send them to Ireland or England. That way you ain't got a language barrier. And so I just a short story. I went back in 2004, I went to Dublin, Ireland for 3 days. And we were out drinking with some nice local girls. It's me and 3 of my brothers from the Air Force. And I told this girl I had 2 cars. And she couldn't believe it. She thought I was rich. Because they're on a big island and you got to get permission to even own one. So I would go to a place like that where, where we have privileges that they don't have, and maybe that make you more impressive than what you normally would be. But I would definitely go somewhere where there's no language barrier.
Okay, that's a good one. So that way they don't, have to worry about Google Translate or what have you all the time. What about you, AG? Any advice that you would give to men traveling abroad to explore their options?
Hey, Dirty man, I appreciate the invite, man. I gotta go.
Okay. Hey, it's too easy to be safe out
Yes,
there.
sir.
Get
Hey,
into
gentlemen, you
your.
enjoy the rest of your day. It was a pleasure talking to y'all, man. I look forward to next time. Hopefully, I won't be at work. But thank y'all. Appreciate you.
All right, bro.
Alrighty.
Take
And
care.
Dirty, make sure you send me put the Cash App back on the thing, yo, so I can. Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I gotta
All right,
do
gents.
that.
Appreciate it.
All right, easy
All
on you.
right.
Yes, sir. They said put the cash app up. I'm putting the cash app up, baby. Everybody hit the cash app. Go right there. Cash app Big Dirty. Y'all know I need it. I'm trying to pay my Disney Plus bill. I need about $8 or something like that. Look out for me one time. All right, so Big U, man, what advice, if any, would you give guys that looking to explore their options in these foreign lands with these foreign women?
I say you gotta build up yourself first. You gotta have something to offer. Like if you don't have nothing to offer over here, then there's no point in going overseas. Because it'll be the same result. So I say build up yourself first, and then know what your intentions are. Like depends on what your end goal is. If you're just going to have fun, then you know it's not going to take much. It's just going to take some vacation money. But if you're going to find something that's going to be long term, then you got to set yourself up to where you can be able to provide long term. You know.
Right. Okay. Okay. Well, I would say to anybody, especially newcomers, first timers that want to travel, want to get their passport, and check out these foreign lands, want to get involved with these different women. First thing I would say is keep your head on a swivel. Please understand that things work differently in other countries. Just because you may have gotten away with, bending or breaking certain policies or laws in your home country, that most likely is not going to be the case in a foreign country, especially if there's no SOFA agreement. You're going to get yourself in trouble. Um, be mindful of the laws. Don't break the laws. Be nice, be courteous to everyone you come in contact with, because you never know who can be of aid or of use to you. And just be careful of like drugs and alcohol. Take care of yourself while you're out there. Make sure you drink plenty of water. Don't use drugs. Don't over drink. Don't be outside or at the clubs or what have you getting drunk past your limit and things of that nature. Just keep your head on the swivel. Make smart decisions. If you can go in the group, that's even better. Ton of Facebook groups. Join some of those and plan accordingly. Have your backup plans. How much money you're going to take, which credit cards you're going to take or debit cards, copies of your passport. Like there's a lot of different things that you can do to help yourself, not become a victim or, to have a smooth transition, whether you're visiting short term or long term. What you guys think? Kind of covers it.
Yeah, definitely. That's yeah.
All right. So I think we kind of I think we kind of beat that with a horse a little bit. Before we get out of here, I want to transition really quick to Brittany Griner. If you're just not joining us, this is Multiple Personality Intelligences. I'm your host, MI, and you can all go and you can follow the channel here as it streams across, and you can follow me on my IG as well at Alucard Ortega. To transition really quick, Brittany Griner. I'm sure you're all familiar with the case. Some weed or some hashish oil or something to that extent in her carry-on luggage, got stopped, got caught with it, had to sit down in a Russian prison, went to court the other week, got sentenced to, I think, 9 years in prison. There's a lot of talk about a prisoner swap with this guy named Victor Bout. What is your take on this whole Brittany Griner situation? Do you think that we should swap her out? Do you think that we should get her, or is she just a victim of her own demise?
I mean, it's definitely a political play, because I mean, if Russia's in a war right now, so they need weapons. So of course they, they want the number one weapons dealer, to come, kind of build up their arsenal. So that makes sense. I think it was a political play from the beginning, you know, as far as that part goes. But as far as Brittany Griner goes, I haven't heard her specifically make any comments about, the whole situation. But in general, what I'm seeing on social media is people saying, well, they should let her go and this and that. And to me, it all comes down to accountability. It's kind of the same situation with Sha'Carri Richardson during the Olympics. It's like everyone was like, oh, they should let her race, but it's like, if she's competing at that level and doesn't have any accountability for her actions, then, what are we teaching, these kids, So there's got to be accountability, there on her part, and yeah, that's my take on it.
Okay. Definitely got to have some accountability. What about you, Roy?
Yeah, I agree with what he just said about accountability. All the work she put in to create the career that she has. Um, Everybody's watching her everywhere she goes. America. I didn't know until recently she played in a Russian league.
Yeah.
If I understood that correctly. I guess if she's doing time over there, that's good news. That she's familiar with the country and probably knows some of the language. I was concerned about that in American in a foreign prison. Uh, I've never. I have a prior to that. You know, there's a movie I watched called The Midnight Express, where there was an American that got caught smuggling hashish out of Turkey in the 70s. They kept him for a very long time,
Mm.
So every American should probably watch it before you travel to another country. But anyway, I don't want to get too sidetracked. But I think they should let her go. You're one of the superpowers of the world. Who has time for nonsense like that? If you got my weapons dealer and he did something wrong, keep him. She already served her time under a gram. I mean, I think if you're in Russia like that and you got all that other stuff going on, I ain't got time for nonsense. Maybe ban her from the country. Don't let her play basketball there for a little while. But, be on your way. You know, it, she served her time. And regardless of what people say, what she thinks about the national anthem, whether people like it or not, that's part of the package of being an American. You don't have to stand up for it or listen to it if you don't want to. And you get all the benefits of being an American anyway. So that's one of the things that we do. When we serve, whether they agree with it or not, we do it for everybody. Um, but yeah, I think they should let her go. They should let her go. The punishment doesn't fit the crime, and so I think that's one of the reasons they should let her go. And then as far as a prisoner swap, I don't know, other than what this guy's being labeled as a weapons dealer, what I don't know what level it was he doing it at. You know, was he giving it to cartels in Mexico? Was he arming the mob in New York? You know,
He's one of the biggest international weapons traders there is.
yeah. Then you're never gonna see him again.
And he wants to kill Americans basically.
Yeah,
From what I
absolutely.
gather.
Yeah. So I didn't know that. So yeah, you're never gonna see him again. And
But they're
you
actually
know,
talking
and if
about swapping Brittany Griner out for this guy. Like that's apparently that's what Russia has said. It's like, okay, if you give us this guy, you know, we'll give you Brittany Griner, and I think another American soldier. I'm not sure if he's a Marine or not. Is also on the table, but definitely if we want to bring Brittany Griner home, from what I hear from reports that I saw, they're willing to give her back, but we have to give up this arms dealer guy.
all right, yeah, she's worth more than that piece of shit. So yep, go ahead and swap them.
You would swap him?
Yep, I would.
I
Yep,
wouldn't. I
yep.
can't.
I think she's better than him.
Yeah, but
But you know
okay. What
that's a
happens
different
if we
different
swap
angle.
this? But what
But
happens if we swap this guy out? He's already told us like he wants to kill Americans. We let him out, and then he sets off a bomb or something and kills, I don't know, let's just say 100 Americans or something like that. Like who do you look at the fault? Do you know whether it happens in America or whether it happens in a foreign country? It still happens. So we let this guy out for the greater good of one person, and through that, this guy inevitably affects the lives of that many more Americans.
right, that's a good point. That's a very good point. If I just thought about that right there, then of course I probably wouldn't do it. That's a great responsibility. You know, you'd have to answer to a lot of people if something like that happened. Uh,
Yeah.
man, I never
I
even thought
mean,
about it that way.
I hope that there is something, some way, some deal we can get done, you know, to bring her home. But anybody else who's over there being, you know, held where the punishment may not fit the crime, or they've been sabotaged. Now, she was sabotaged. She never had the hashish oil or what have you, and this is just some ploy. Then I say, okay, by any means, let's go get our people. If she was sabotaged, but
Right.
if she was not sabotaged and she literally went and sought after that narcotic, that weed, hashish oil, or whatever it is, that's on her. Like I'm sorry. Like you got to wear that.
Yeah, you know, another thing too, you know, if I'm Russia and we've been supplying Ukraine with all these weapons this entire time, you know, what kind of deal do you think I'm going to make with you right now?
The worst.
You know, so that's another. Do we even have any business trying to call them to the table when they're invading a country right now and we're giving, you know, I know Ukraine in my mind isn't really their enemy, but you know, you're at war with somebody and America's giving them all these weapons and, you know, keeping the fight probably going longer than it would any other way.
Right.
Do we even
Right.
have any business even talking about a prisoner swap while that's going on?
Exactly. You know. So I don't know. That's my take on. I wish her the best. It's an unfortunate situation, and again, I hope that we can, you know, come up with some type of deal to help bring her home, because I pray for anybody that's under those, you know, circumstances. But I just don't see like letting this monster out to. It's difficult, man.
Yeah,
It's
I
difficult.
agree. I agree. I don't know why we're letting people travel there. We should be doing more to avoid these types of situations if there's a war like that going on.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree. Any last thoughts, Big U, on this whole Brittany Griner situation?
I
Any last
mean,
thoughts?
yeah, I think you know, for the punishment doesn't fit the crime, you know, but like I said, it's a political play, and they knew who they wanted to swap with, you know, from the beginning of this whole thing, you know. But it's still there's still that accountability factor on Brittany Griner's part, you know. But I mean, it was a bigger play at hand, and I'm pretty sure if there wasn't a war going on and they didn't want that arms dealer released, that would have been a slap on the wrist, you know. But she just got caught up in, you know, in the whole political, you know, aspect of it.
Yeah. It's sad, man. Like I said, it's unfortunate, and I wish her the best. I just wish her the best, man. I hope she wouldn't have found herself in this predicament. If there's anything that our government can do to get her out without jeopardizing the you know, the current or future harm of other civilians, I'm all for it. You know, it's just a tough situation. So I wish her, all of her family, loved ones, the best. And again, hopefully we can come up with something, you know, to bring her home. Need to get her home somehow. That's my take on it. But anyway, everybody, thank you for joining Multiple Personality Intelligences. I'm your host, Big Dirty. Every time I drop a stream or some content, I'm going to always do my best to improve it, to add little whistles and bells and nicks and knacks and things of that nature to improve the experience for not only myself, but to everyone who consumes the content as well. Questions, comments, concerns, drop those down in the message box below. I'm curious to see what you guys got to say. Women, if you come across this content and you have any questions about Travel Bros or Brittany Griner, drop those down in the comment as well. You guys see the name, you guys see the Cash App, Big Dirty. Go ahead on and hit the Cash App so I can go ahead on and re-up on my Disney Plus. I need that. Everybody else, thank you so much. My panelists, thank you so much for showing up. I appreciate your take on everything. We're going to try to do this every Wednesday at 7 p.m. We're going to go live. Until then, like, share, subscribe to your boy. You know what I'm saying? Multiple Personality Intelligence.
All right. Thank you.